Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the 5th place semi-finals taking place between South Africa and also Great Britain. Now, we have just seen it in a miraculous comeback victory from the Spanish up against Argentina. They were down by 23 points, came back to win it in the final moment of that game, and this contest, it could be relatively close. We've seen up and down form for these two sides thus far, but looking through, first of all, at the starting sides in the Great British team, it is going to be Marcus Kershaw, Ethan Waddleton, Oliver Duncan, Tom Burden, Ryan Apps, also Frostwick, and then also McAfee, the last man. In the starting side for the South Africans, they've made a few switches compared to what we did see in the early stages of the competition. David Brits, Xander Reinders, he gets himself the start, also got himself a last-minute try in the last contest that the Blitzboks played. Zane Davids, Donovan Don, Tristan Lades, Shilton Fundvake, and Ricardo James Duarte. So pretty much everyone off the bench. Ronald Brown, Selvin Davids, Christy Horobala, Impe Visa. Those guys, they were regularly starting for the Blitzboks, but not in this game. Making drastic changes, and it could come back to bite the South African side. They are on a 2-match losing streak, so they've decided they have to try and switch up something. Like I mentioned, a spot in that 7th place or 5th place playoff just around the corner. Hi, Stranger says, Kiwi Rob, welcome in. Morning, Hamish says, please and tease. And there as well, I hope you are doing extremely well and hope you are excited for this match. We've got plenty more coming up in the 7 side of things in the very near future. So anyone who is new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But we are ready to go for this contest. I have no idea what to expect from this game now that we've just witnessed that comeback from the Spanish. It just means no matter what the scoreline is, there is still a chance that you can come back into a game and get the big victory. But South Africa, they were defeated by the Argentines in just the most recent fixture, so of course they'd like to get redemption there, but for that to happen, they would actually have to lose this game to Great Britain, and they would much rather advance and take on the Spanish. There were some brilliant battles between those two sides last year, but we have kicked off, ready to go, and it's a drop ball from the Blitzboks. This time, Tristan Lades, the man who did put it down. That has unfortunately happened far too often for South Africa throughout this competition, and it's actually one of the reasons why they have been losing the games, but their defence, normally pretty safe, I would say, and very strong. Trying to get in the breakdown, early penalty won by Ricardo James Duarte. And the Blitzboks now 30 metres out from the line do have their first penalty of the contest. Looks like Zane Davids may have hurt his hand here a little bit from the way that he is reacting. Tristan Lades ready to kick this one towards the sideline for the Blitzboks. These games once again played in Dubai, hugely humid and high temperatures for these two sides to play in. It's normally those evening contests that are a little bit nicer on the body, but these early games, they are the ones that really fatigue these players, and luckily today they only have 2 games to play rather than the 3 like they had yesterday. But Ricardo James Duarte throws it in, nicely taken out line out time by Xander Reinders, and they will move this one to the left-hand side. Tristan Lades decides to actually switch back to the right. Now does a spin to the left. He can't decide what way he wants to go, but Shilton Fundvake goes on the outside to Donovan Don. It's going to be a foot race, looking like Donovan Don will just about, oh, what an offload that is. That is sensational from Donovan Don. He could have been driven into touch, but instead gets the offload away to Shilton Fundvake. Knew that he had the support of his teammate. Does manage to score a crucial try at this stage of the contest. Yeah, going for the corner. It was a foot race between Donovan Don and Ryan Apps, and in the end, Apps had him and actually did extremely well to drive him into touch. But from there, Shilton Fundvake was on the inside, ready for that pass. And the Blitzboks, they do strike first. Blitz by the Bok, Sears Ruth, and also try. And there as well, but currently 2 minutes have passed in this contest. We see a lot of water and drinks and all sorts getting run onto the field at the moment. I mentioned about the heat that the two sides are dealing with here, but very early for the drinks break. And quick score, says Ruth. Now it's going to be a kickoff from left to right, actually missing another kick at the post here, South Africa. They have missed so many throughout today. Oh, knock on from South Africa as they just about broke through to get themselves another try-scoring opportunity with Shilton Fundvake. And not bad, not bad. There's Nars Williams. Now, I will mention whoever wins this game, they will go on to face up against the Spanish. That is at 2:06 a.m. New Zealand time. The loser of this contest, they will go on to face Argentina. That game is at 11:58 p.m. New Zealand time. And away we go, Bok. Says Craig there. Great Britain have never scored more than 2 tries against South Africa in Dubai, is the statistic that has just popped up on the screen. So that doesn't bode too well in this contest, definitely with the fact that South Africa have already got themselves the one, but GB with the ball in hand, sitting about 25 metres from their line, and again, relentless in the breakdown. That time Tristan Lates manages to rip it away. Gets another penalty for the green and gold. It's 26 degrees in Dubai with 44% humidity. Says Jasmine, yeah, it's pretty warm. And of course, that is if you're just sitting still. You know that it is a incredibly hot temperature. Then you chuck yourself running around out there on the field, making tackles, having line breaks, and it must be torture for the players, although they are probably getting used to it. And the thing is, Cape Town's going to be hot next week as well. Good luck, Springbokker, says Colleen. And their kicking has really cost this team. Keep scoring. And the corner says please and tease, but now Ricardo James Duarte looking off to the right-hand side. One more pass could lead to another try, and it will be Donovan Don who gets himself this try. So last time getting the assist, now scoring it. It is once again out wide, so not an easy kick again for the South Africans. But I'm sure they'll still take those 10 points. Way off topic. How many Sevens games you got coming tonight? It's not really off topic, to be fair. It could have been worse. We've had a lot more off topic ones throughout the weekend. But so we got the 2 semi-finals of the women's game, 2 semi-finals of the men's, and then from there, I believe it's going to be the 5th place playoff, the bronze final, and the final. So I want to say we've probably got another about 8 or 9 games still to come today. The last one taking place at about 5:10 a.m. What was the result of Argentina versus Spain? Well, Argentina led by 23 points. Then the Spanish scored a last-minute try after repeat tries in that second half and managed to win it. So Spain playing off for 5th and Argentina playing off for 7th. Oh, flag is up, and it's going to be in touch of the South Africans, so it is going to mean that Great Britain have got themselves a line-out opportunity. They decide they wanted to take it quickly. Referee says, no, you have to set it. Shown there, that next game, New Zealand versus Japan, that has taken place in 1 hour and 12 minutes time, so I will be covering that one on the channel as well. Then we've got a few more semi-finals just around the corner too. And go the Bokker score now, boys, who are our Springbokker boys champions. Says Colleen. Now GB with the possession inside of their own 22 in the hands of McAfee, and that is going to be a knock-on now from GB. Just making those little mistakes at the moment. Ethan Waddleton not too happy about it. So it does now give the South Africans a very good attacking chance from just inside of the Great Britain 22. So 90 seconds left. But the thing is, because of that last game between Argentina and Spain, no scoreline feels safe in this contest. Until you get to, I would say, 35 points ahead, that's a safe margin to have. Outside of that, though, you just never know. Now, Ricardo James Duarte, that looked like a knock-on at the back of the scrum, but it looks like they're going to say play on just for now, and it could lead to another opportunity for the Boks, although that ball has gone forward. Now going back for the Great Britain scrum again. So far 2 tries scored in this contest. Donovan Don and Shilton Van Wyk, 2 men with plenty of pace in those wide channels. See it there, just looking for that offload. It actually almost looked like it may have come off a GB hand in the process, or at least the arm of the tackler may have been involved. The way that ball deflected, but 40 seconds remaining in this first half. South Africa averaged the most errors per game yesterday. They conceded the fewest per game last season. Well, there you go. So that tells you straight away that the handling of South Africa in this competition has been below par, although it has been obvious from watching their games that they just aren't quite hanging on to the ball in the same way that they normally would. Shilton Van Wyk trying to get that steal. Donovan Don in the breakdown. Another penalty won by South Africa. That is now 3 times in these breakdowns that they've just ripped it away from Great Britain. So they've found a bit of a loophole, I guess you could say, in the Great Britain game plan, which is they are lacking men in those breakdowns to be able to protect the ball. Donovan Don, though, jumping on it straight away. Great body position, too. Kept himself extremely low, just off the ground with those knees. Now it is going to be the scrum feed again for the South Africans. Currently 3 penalties conceded by Great Britain. Those are all for not releasing in the breakdown. Here comes Ricardo James Duarte. And the ball in now for the Blitzboks with a big push in the scrum, just like we see from the Rugby Union side. There's going to be an advantage as well in play for South Africa. Tristan Lace passes on the outside. Oh, a little bit of a slip there. Was the advantage over? Referee says yes. GB getting ripped towards the sideline. He goes into touch. And that is going to be halftime now in this contest. 10 points to 0 in favour of South Africa. Great Britain, I don't know whether or not they got out of their half. Or at least I can't think of too many times that they did, outside of maybe near the very start of this matchup. But from there, we have just seen South Africa keep on piling on that pressure and not allow them to go anywhere in this case. And Springbokker boys team will win, says Colleen. And I will mention the next game for South Africa, if they were to win this game, would be taking place at 3:06 p.m. South African time. We will be covering that one on the channel. I feel the sevens similar to the 15s. We were the best at sevens under Gordon. Then all teams caught up. We're not dominant now. Same slowly happening to the All Blacks. The unbeaten myth is now over, says Nazi Williams. Yeah. And some people haven't taken it too well. Of course, it is quite a rough one to know that there are other sides catching up. But I feel like that's good for rugby, isn't it? Like, at the end of the day, if you have one side dominating all the time, just look at what happened for Super Rugby in the Crusaders. Look how much certain other sides kind of almost got sick of Super Rugby for it. At least in recent times, we've seen a couple curveballs every once in a while. Of course, the Crusaders, I think they won last year, didn't they? The Super Rugby. I can't even remember the final. I'm pretty sure we covered it on the channel. I want to say it was either Chiefs versus Crusaders or maybe Blues versus Crusaders. And then Crusaders won, didn't they? I can't even remember. That's really bad. My brain is starting to not work as well as it used to. I think I'm losing my memory. I'm going to have a look because it's going to annoy me now. 2015, the final. Yeah, Crusaders won 16 points to 12 over the Chiefs. Women's final most likely be Australia versus New Zealand. Yeah. And the good news is that doesn't happen very often in the women's sevens. But it's always that final, unfortunately. Hopefully we get a little bit of variety throughout this season. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Although I'd love to see Fijiana somehow break their way through. Like, it would be huge for them, even if it was Japan as well. Managing to somehow pull off a massive upset over New Zealand, it would be a great way to start the competition. But second half kicking off now, and we're ready to go. Great Britain able to claim that ball. They are once again inside of their own half. And South Africa, says Colleen there. Now, nice step in, coming in the middle of the field from Ethan Waddleton. And GB, oh, that was an ugly tackle from Ricardo James Duarte. Almost like a judo takedown there from the Springboks number 5. And like they said, luckily for Waddleton, he actually fell on his side rather than his head there, or else that could have been a red card for Ricardo James Duarte, which is the last thing that the Boks want in this scenario. It would give GB half a chance of getting back into the contest as they currently still sit inside of their 22, and you feel like the era is coming for GB if they can't break through in the very near future. Protecting that ball again is Ethan Waddleton, but he was off his feet. There's the penalty, there's the error, and now South Africa have themselves another attacking chance. Calder Roof, hope you're behaving, mate. And also too strong, Bulldog can't keep Bok back. Here's Ruth. Yeah, Spain versus South Africa is always a thoroughly entertaining match when it does take place. And in fact, I think it was last year, I could be wrong, but I think the last time those two sides played, was it the Spanish who got the victory? No, it was the final of LA, and it was 19 points to 5. South Africa got themselves the winner. Hoi H, says Juan Pierre Bosch, welcome in. You are doing well. 6 minutes remaining in this contest at the moment. Oh, that's not good for Duncan. He is now making his way off of the field. That is Oliver Duncan, one of the big forwards for GB, so they do have to make this switch. Charlton Kerr making his way on the field. Not exactly a bad sub to have at this stage of the contest. A very handy sevens player. They have good physicality, which will be important up against the South African side as we get closer to the full-time whistle. Nazi, I'm on my best behaviour. It's Sunday, says Ruth. And go the Bokker, score now, Bokker boys, says Colleen. Sullivan Davids ready to feed this ball in. It's a really shaky scrum, but it has popped out the back now. Davids goes away to the left-hand side, finds Tristan Lades. And the benefit that South Africa have, oh, what a run that is from Shilton Van He goes straight through. What I was going to say is the benefit they have is there are some very handy players making their way off the bench for South Africa in this match. They have got plenty of depth coming off of that bench later on. I've seen it already, just that impact of Selvin Davids, but that should be a nice, easy three-pointer, which will then give the lead of 17 points to 0 in favour of the South Africans. I don't want to say this game is won yet because we have seen bigger upsets in the world of sevens, but it seems like it should be in control. I can never tell who's a forward or a back in sevens because they are generally all lean as opposed to 15s forwards. Says Jasmine. Normally, the best factor is the height. Normally, that little bit of extra height gets you a role as a forward. Like for South Africa in this one, it's Zane Davids Xander Reinders, and also I think David Brits is counted as the third forward. He's more like a loose forward, I guess you could say, in terms of the sevens compared to 15's comparison. Now going off to the left-hand side. Singing this one across nicely, GB, but again, inside of their own half, almost tackle there, and Lovu not quite getting it right, and now Waddleton gets to start running through. He does win the penalty, so that's going to be for a high tackle. Oh, he's taking the quick tap. He's actually kicked it to a teammate accidentally. Ball on the inside here for Great Britain. Another offload. This is their best attack of the day, and the first time that they've actually been inside of South African territory, and the ball's passed into touch. The one chance gone now. Charlton Kerr unable to bring that one in as it was too far out in front of him. Come on, the Springbokker boys. Win, says Colleen. And Bok Coach is on top, says Ruth. And there too, but it was a good foot race initially. Charlton van Wyk managing to make up the ground in very quick fashion, as he normally would. 4 errors at the moment from South Africa in this contest. 3 errors from the Great British side. And they have made double the passes, GB. But they haven't got double the points. In fact, they have got 0 points from the first 10 minutes of this contest. And it's once again that South African defence that has shown its class in this contest. 4 minutes now remaining in this matchup. Selvin Davids waiting for his opportunity to feed that ball. And once again, a little bit of a rocky scrum. Both sides going back and forth. But it is now on the side of the Blitzboks. A little bit isolated there was Ndlovu in the middle of the field. It does manage to bring it down. Selvin Davids goes back across to the left-hand side. And any time that South Africa get it out wide, that is where they've really shown their pace out there on the park. The likes of a Charlton van Wyk. There was a counter right there from GB, but not getting it right now. Ronald Brown, who has made his way onto the field for the Blitzboks, goes away to the right-hand side. Now looking to go. One more. Christy Grobelaar just can't quite get the pass away. Eventually does from his back, though, with the offload. And it's another try, this time for Tristan Lades. And the Blitzboks now should be firmly in control. 22-0. In this contest with only a couple minutes remaining on the clock. The job should be done. They will be booking themselves a spot through to face the Spanish in the 5th place playoff game. It will be GB versus Argentina for 7th if it stays the way that it is here. And Grobelaar, says Ruth. Now it's a tough kick from the sideline for Ronald Brown. Does look to strike it, only gets it about 3/4 of the distance that he would have liked, so the score will remain 22 points to 0 from the Blitzboks. But they've been a lot more clinical in this game compared to some of their other matches that we did witness. Their game up against the French, they did manage to score themselves the 3 tries compared to France's 2. And it was their defence in that game that was absolutely incredible. All loose ball, now kick downfield from Christy Grobelaar. And it does go into touch. He almost ran that one out, the GB player. And yeah, in fact, did he? No, it is going to be GB who have got themselves a line-out throw. 5 metres out from their own try line. It's the absolute worst place that you want to be when you are down by so many points. Hello, everyone. Says Anton. Welcome and hope you're doing extremely well. The next live stream is going to be taking place in around an hour's time for the women's semi-final, but we are going to be covering those two on the channel as well. I think it is, yeah, about an hour's time. Now going off to the right-hand side. Sell the dummy there, trying to move a little bit further forward. That's nicely done by South Africa, just driving in the tackle. Selvin Davids looking for the steal, can't quite get it. If you are South Africa in this scenario, you just want to avoid injuries for the next 80 seconds. You're not going to lose from here. Looks like GB actually decided to go for the kick downfield. Doesn't get a huge amount of distance on it here. Also mentioned new rugby balls that they are using for the sevens format. The women are actually using a slightly smaller ball than the men now. Sullivan Davids, cross to the left-hand side again. Now passed on, a bit of a rough pass from Ndlovu. Does bounce it into the hands of Donovan Don, who had Ronald Brown with him. Does look for the offload, goes to Ndlovu instead, who will run through. One of the South African players has stayed down with some sort of injury by the looks of it, but scoring the try now with just the 1 minute left on the clock. We see now Great Britain, they are really starting to slow down. By the sounds of it, it might be Ronald Brown, who has stayed down at this point in time, was tackled off the ball. We're going to see it there, yeah, just getting himself slipped, or almost getting himself colliding with a couple of the GB players, Donovan Don, and he's gone. See his Ruth. But now kicking this one, and it has gone over, making the score 29 points to 0 in favour of the South Africans. So just the 10 seconds remaining in what has been their best, I would have to argue, their best performance of the whole competition. They did do very well up against the French, though, in terms of that defence. In this game, their work in the breakdown has been phenomenal, and that is something that Spain will have to keep a close eye on in the next contest to make sure that that does not happen. But GB, now the ball, 22 metres out from their own line here. So a lot of metres to make if they want some sort of consolation try. It was Kershaw who did hit the ball up. Shelton Kerr trying to cut his way through. He's tackled low by Zane Davids. Ronald Brown told to get out of that breakdown. Still going, these two sides. On the short side, great low tackle made by Xander Rainder. Straight in the breakdown, Selvin Davids rips it away. Goes short side, he has the man with him. Passes off to Rangers. It will be another one for the Blitzboks. Don't make sense. Women wanting a smaller ball, says Naz Williams. Yeah, I don't actually know who made that decision. Like, I think by the sounds of it, one thing with the World Rugby format or the World Rugby circuit is no one was saying that the ball sizes are wrong. They were saying that the teams being limited to 8 was the wrong part of it. Good morning, Hamish says, hey, no, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. That's very nicely done by South Africa, though, with Xander Reinders to be able to score right at the end of the half. It's a relatively difficult drop kick here. Just said there that he is a computer engineer, Xander Reinders, so that is thoroughly impressive. And Daniela has got the surprise one there. That kick has just gone under the post, and that will be the end of the game. 34 points to 0. The win for the South Africans, so they booked themselves a spot to play Spain, and that one's taken place, I believe, it's at 3:06 p.m. South African time. We are going to be here for that one. The men's semi-finals taking place in just under 2 hours' time. France versus Australia and New Zealand versus Fiji. We'll be covering both of them on the channel. Doing well. Just home for a better sports day than yesterday. How are you? Says, hey, no, doing all right. Yeah, hoping for the same. Hopefully we get some great games. I mean, to be fair, we've already had one brilliant contest. Argentina versus Spain, a bit of a back and forth there. But yeah, the semi-final's just around the corner. You're way smarter than me, bro. We didn't get the joke. Says Naz Williams. I assume it's some sort of sexual reference, is it, Naz? In there? Although I was still just making that comment because of the fact that I did see a lot of people taking the piss out of World Rugby going, why do, like, out of everything to change on the circuit, why is it the rugby balls that need changed? Like, you know, no Kenya, no Samoa. I think that having those sides back would be better than changing balls. And just showing there, New Zealand semi-final up against the Japanese, taking place in 57 minutes time, ladies and gents. So we will be covering that one on the channel. And alongside that, still plenty more to come in the sevens there as well. But nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.